Peace builders from across the African continent have converged on Abuja, the Nigeria capital city, for the Cardinal Onaikan Foundation for Peace COFP second module of the COFP Fellowship Program. Participants who were drawn from various African countries pledged to carry out advocacy geared towards promoting peace in their countries and the continent at large. Citivi's Tony Abba completes the report.
From different parts of Africa, these peace builders are gathered here in Abuja to seek for one solution, a peaceful African continent.
This is a great opportunity for dynamic leaders who wants to bring influence to their countries in Africa. Africa is faced with myriad challenges, but this time we have understood what conflict is, and we are being commissioned to be peacemakers. We're going to start with our grassroots levels. We're going to engage with various leaders and various community people that we can be able to influence advocacy in schools, that we can be able to reach out also to the learners, to bring values into their lives, because we realize that they are the Africans who will be able to make a change during this time. It is imperative for us as leaders in Africa that we can be able to engage meaningfully. We can engage even in our diversities, that we can be able to come together just for the purpose of coexistence.
God has given you the privilege of being a Nigerian or an African and a citizen of the world. You have a responsibility to contribute to the unity, peace, and progress of the world. If you don't do that, that means you have become a tool to tearing the world apart. So, in essence, I think this program will contribute, especially it will impact on me to be reminded about my responsibility, not just as a lecturer or as a teacher, but also as a peace builder. Because of this, I have to be careful with the way I go about the teachings. I will try as much as possible to integrate my teachings with the tenets of peace building in them.
As fellows of this peace program, we will take responsibility when we go back home. Our countries have similar problems. We have leadership issues. We have corruption issues. We have radicalization issues. There's poverty. But when you sit down and reflect as a leader, you discover that most of us actually lack values and patriotism to defend and talk good about our country. We need to share our stories. We need to stop having the Western countries and the media tell our stories. We need to tell our own stories. And we are the same people who will come up with our own solutions. So for me, I take personal responsibility that we are going back home. I'm going back to Kenya, and I'm going to hold my leadership into account. They were put there by the Almighty. Leadership, people who are put in leadership, most of the time have been chosen by God. And they have to know that they're serving humanity.
Having taken part in the first and second module of the Cardinal Onaikan Foundation for Peace COFP Fellowship Program, these Africans are equipped with the requisite knowledge in peace building, conflict transformation, mediation, and interreligious dialogue, which is very important in promoting peaceful coexistence in the African continent.
Sincerely speaking, our world is full of noise. Our world is desiring for peace, and little or nothing is being done by many in order to bring back the peace which we enjoyed in the past and are praying for to have in our country, Nigeria, today. Personally, I have learned a lot. My capacity as to peace building has been enlarged. I can't wait to finish this training in its totality, so as to go there in order to put into practice the knowledge of peace with which I have been downloaded, so as to encourage peaceful coexistence, interreligious dialogue, and all that it takes to aid to enhance peace and peaceful coexistence.
Dialogue is very essential in every communication, because if there's no effective way of dialogue, it would bring a lot of chaos to the society. But if we are able to dialogue, knowing that despite our religious differences, we could equally be able to live as one to tolerate one another. Tolerance is very, very important, and accommodation of each other's religion. And I hope that when I go back, I'll be able to organize a peace talk to be able to bring the locals together, especially the chief, the imams, the ward heads, the women leaders, the youths. I'll be able to bring them together and then tell them more about peace.
Coming to this program have really taught me a lot. One, I have learned to know that one-sided information is not all. You need to balance every information that you have, including getting to know about the culture and behavior of every group of persons that you've heard of or you've come in contact with. Another thing I have learned in this program is that we can only dwell in an environment of peace. Peace may look cheap to people, but without peace, we cannot achieve anything. I know that this program has imparted so much in me and have balanced my understanding and perception in relating with my fellow human.
I have learned mediation skills. I have learned how to manage conflict. And I've also learned facilitation, coaching, and mentoring skills. Going back to my organization and to my own community, there are so many people who are looking up to me for assistance, for guidance, and for help. And I think that with the skills I have acquired here, communication being the most important, because communication cuts across all the other fields in mediation, facilitation, coaching, and mentoring. See that if you do not communicate properly, then you will not be understood.
What I want to take home is that dialogue. I'll call upon people, the leaders especially, the interfaith women, the interfaith youth, the cultural leaders and the opinion leaders. Bring them together for a dialogue. Then we'll get a topic, we'll get a keynote speaker, then we brainstorm on how best we can really do away with conflicts in Africa and especially in my country.
I think this program will help boost my knowledge more on the initiatives of bringing in the Christian and the Muslim youths to interface and have interactive sections in their community and help them improve more on how to coexist without being biased, because we have a lot of crises.
These peace builders are optimistic that having acquired these skills from the fellowship program, they are ready to implement peace initiative in their various localities. In Abuja, Tony Abba, CTV News.